Is a reverse mortgage too risky? Is it a mistake or a solution that you could consider as part of your retirement plan? I had an amazing conversation the other day about it on our radio program, Under One Roof MTL. And today I would like to explain it to you so that you understand everything you need to know about reverse mortgages. If by the time you finish watching this video, you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. All of my information is in the description down below. My name is Aguinaga, your Montreal real estate broker. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please make sure you like and subscribe. It's going to motivate me to continue putting out this content. Let's get started. So let's start off by saying, what is a reverse mortgage? A reverse mortgage is simply a mortgage that is backed based on the equity of your property. Now, who qualifies for a mortgage of this type? You need to be 55 years and older, and the maximum loan that you can get is 55% of a loan to value. So the loan to value is calculated based on the appraised value of your property from a chartered appraiser. Now, the way this works is depending on your age, you're going to be able to qualify for more or less of that 55%. So if you are 55 years old, you're only going to qualify for about 25 to 30% of the loan to value. And as you get to 75 plus, then you would be able to qualify for the full 55%. What's really exciting about a reverse mortgage is that it allows you to stay in your home. And for most Canadians, that's the number one thing they're looking for. It allows you to tap into the equity that you've worked so hard to pay down over the last few years. Now, if you haven't quite finished paying off your original mortgage, that's okay. As long as you have space in that equity that we just discussed, you can use a reverse mortgage to pay down the existing loan and take out the balance. Now, the balance can be taken out in different ways. You can either take a lump sum because you want to do something important with it. Maybe you want to gift it to a family member. Maybe you want to take a trip, whatever you need at that point in time. Or you could choose to take monthly payments. So you could say that I need $1,000 a month because of my quality of life and what I need to spend, or maybe $2,000, and you can do it that way. The next option is you can do a combination. You can say, hey, you know what? I have this trip that I have planned that I really want to do. I want $50,000 today, and then I want $1,500 a month. And you can keep doing that until you hit that 55% threshold, depending on your age bracket, obviously. Now, let's look at the cost. How much does it cost to get a reverse mortgage done? So if we start with the interest rate, typically it's about 1% to 1.5% more expensive than your traditional mortgage rates. So if today a traditional mortgage rate would be, let's say 5%, then you might be paying somewhere between 6 to 6.5% on a fixed rate. You also have the option of going variable, and it's going to be about the same spread on a variable mortgage. What's really interesting about this product is that it's a debt that you're taking on your property. So it's not actual income that you're receiving. Even though you're receiving it monthly or in a lump sum, you don't actually have to pay taxes on this because it's a debt that you're actually taking out and not income. This is really important to consider because if you're living off of your RRSPs or other investments, you're not actually increasing your revenue, which would then increase your tax implication. So you might just take a reverse mortgage as a tax strategy in order to reduce the amount of money you're actually taking from your investments every single month. The next part is the setup fee. So whenever you're looking at a reverse mortgage, the setup fee is about $1,700. On top of that, you're going to have to pay for the notary fees and for the appraisal. So you're looking all in all to about $3,000 of spending in order to get a reverse mortgage. It's a little bit higher than a traditional bank, but it's still something that's quite reasonable given the type of product that you're taking out and the fact that you don't need any income to qualify anymore. A lot of the times people will ask, well, should I take a reverse mortgage or should I just get a home equity line of credit or a HELOC? Now, they're two very different products. Even though they work similarly, in order to qualify for one, it's completely different. So a reverse mortgage is based on your age, where the property is located, and the equity that you have available in the home. Versus a HELOC is still based on your income. So if you no longer have any income, you're not going to qualify for the HELOC that you might want. The next thing that's important to consider is that on a HELOC, you have a monthly obligation to pay the interest every single month on that property. On a reverse mortgage, you don't have to pay anything. You can pay the interest if you'd like monthly, or you can simply defer the interest every single month and let it start growing. And you can eventually repay that when you decide to sell the property, potentially move into something else. Or if it does go through an estate, you can wait 6 months until after the estate's been settled in order to pay down the balance of the reverse mortgage. So it would all be taken care of that way. Now, we spoke about fees. Let's cover penalties. If you take a reverse mortgage and you do want to pay it back in the first 3 years of the loan, there's going to be penalties associated to that repayment. Now, anytime after that 3-year period, the only penalty would be 3 months of interest. So it's similar to a variable rate in that regard, which is pretty interesting as well. The last thing that I found super interesting about a reverse mortgage is the fact that you can get up to 3 reverse mortgages and Home Equity Bank, the bank that primarily does this in Canada, will allow you to go up to a sixplex. So we've seen some clients even say, you know what, I want to take a reverse mortgage on an investment property. I want to buy a property with potentially a family member, or I want to just gift it to them or set that up for them in their future. So you have a lot of different options in terms of using a reverse mortgage, and it's all just based on the equity of the property. So if you no longer have income, which is the reality for most seniors, it's a really interesting program available to you. A common question that comes up is, how is this different from a reverse mortgage in the USA? And I think I've heard some horror stories about how people have been forced out of their houses, and it's really unfair to treat seniors that way. In Canada, because it's a loan on the equity that you have available to you, nobody can force you out of your property. That's why they limit themselves to 55% of the loan to value, because they're not concerned with not being able to refund that balance at the eventual time of sale. So because of that, you do not have to worry about being forced out of your property or your parents being forced out of their property. They're completely protected in that sense. So a reverse mortgage is actually a very safe product in that regard. Now, let's look at an example. Let's say you have a property that is worth $1 million and you have no mortgage currently sitting on it. If you are 75 years or older, you could go as far as that 55% loan to value, which means that you could get a loan of $550,000. Or you could start off with a smaller loan, maybe let's say $150,000, and take regular payments every single month of $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, etc., until you reach that threshold of 55% of the property. Now you know what a reverse mortgage is and how to use it to your advantage or as part of your retirement plan. If you think this is a strategy that you or your loved ones should explore, reach out to me and I would guide you with the correct person to help you out. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any real estate questions, or if there are other topics you'd like me to explore, please do not hesitate to reach out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below for more content just like this. As always, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching.